All right, Harry. A person who attends our Bible study, he asks, how can he resolve a struggle with his parents? Do you have any advice for someone who's going through something like this?
Yeah, well, of course, family stuff has there's lots of choice, lots of situations that need to be dealt with. But the first thing we always need to do is to always make sure that that we are right and they are wrong. Quite often, that's kind of a gray area. So we need to solve that first, as to make
Mhm.
sure.
How would we be able to decipher if we're right or wrong? Should we read the word, pray, ask Holy Spirit for some help on this first? Do you think is a good
Yeah,
approach?
I would say more prayer and meditation, like just pray about it, but not against them, but just make help
Asking
me.
for wisdom for yourself
Yeah,
rather than
yeah,
looking at the negative upon them.
and clarity and
Yeah.
wisdom, and meditate about it to get it sorted out clearly. And and then, of course, obviously, once you sort that out, you need to have a sit down with them. And when you, it's really, really important, I feel, to really articulate clearly how we feel their choices are not in line with our Christian values, our family values, or whatever. So it could be parents, could be kids. Those are the two main areas that we struggle in. And and what we do is, when we do that, I think it's really important to say that we're going to go on record as to where you stand and where I stand, so we're clear with each other. So just, we're not going to decide if you're right or wrong. We're just going to decide as
Clear
what
up
I
the
believe.
confusion in the room type thing.
Yeah, yeah. Just, I'm going to tell you what we believe. We want to understand what you believe, and it's sort of like Joshua did at the end of his life. He went and said to, in Joshua 24:15, he says, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." He was
Mm.
given the people of Israel the option of doing that or choosing something different, and but he was clear what they were going to do. The other thing is really, really important, and from my own personal experience, I've seen a lot at my age, but to me, is telling them once, telling people, your friends, family, once is telling. The next time it's nagging. So
And do you
no,
think it's ever appropriate to nag?
no, it's impossible to fix the problem if you keep re-traveling that same road every day or every week or every month. Well, you can't do that. They don't even have an off ramp, because what you're forcing them to do is to stay the course, because you're kind of reinforcing their wrong position, as you might say. And so the hope is that you can sort out what the difference is, and then you befriend them at that level. And so we don't, and the other thing that happens is clears our conscience, because if we've told them what our values are, then before God, before each other, we're clear. Like, that doesn't mean that they have to decide what their choices will be. If it's our parents we're dealing with, we still have to follow through and help them and support them, regardless of their sometimes unwise choices, maybe. But if it's our kids that continue to be doing things that don't look right, wish them well and explain to them that they now own it. I don't own this, you own it. And that's called tough love. And that's really, really necessary for them, because that's what God does. If we don't do what He's wanting us to do, He says, okay, you own it. You live with it. And if you decide to change your mind, let me know. And that's really where it's at, because we really important for that. The other thing is, what I have found really useful, is birthday cards. Always make sure you buy somebody in the family a birthday card with the left page blank, and you write them 50 words or 75 words of affirmation and kindness and suggestions, but in a real positive way. You don't reprimand them there, of course, but you do is you look for opportunities to nudge them, and to establish strength. Thinking of you cards also work, but those are the main things that I find useful. But I also have many times written my children, particularly, like 150, 200 word letter, to explain why I feel really uncomfortable with some of the choices going on in their life. And so I'm on record, and they can never say I said this or that, because it's in writing. And I'm not saying I can't speak of any great special event, but it cleared my conscience. They were clear, and they made choices from there on that they understood where I stood. And yeah, and the positions were clear. I have found that really, really useful. But what's really important is we don't want to ever nag. Nobody has that. That is just really destructive for everybody involved. I know many people have spent a lifetime nagging their spouse about smoking or Christian values or whatever. Nothing. They can't change because that's locked in. So we have to show kindness. We have to finish the topic, clear it up, understand where we stand, and then continue to love them and to help them any way that's possible, but don't compromise on your position.
Awesome. Thanks for the help, Harry.
Thank you.